We're live. Good morning. I'm attorney Vincent Davis, and this is The Secret, How to Fight CPS and Win. And I'm joined by three special guests today. We have Miss Cassandra Woodard. Miss Woodard, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. We have the infamous Miss G, Georgette Truan. Miss G, how are you this morning?
I'm doing just fabulous. I have a great boss with me and, Cassandra and a nice guest. I'm doing great.
Great, great, great. I love your video setup there. It looks great. And we also have a Mr. Dennison. Mr. Dennison, how are you?
Good morning, everyone. How are you guys?
Good, good. Thank you for being on the show.
Yes,
I
sir.
see your name is A. Dennison. What's the A stand for?
Anthony.
Anthony. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Do you mind if I call you Anthony?
No, sir. That's fine.
Okay, you can call me Vince. You don't have to call me sir.
Yes, sir. It's a respect thing.
Were you in the military or something?
No, sir. I was
Okay.
just raised that way.
Where are you located?
I'm located in Houston, Texas.
Okay. Have you been in H-Town all your life?
No, sir. I've been here for approximately 12 years now.
Okay. Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Huntsville, Alabama.
Huntsville, Alabama. That's the deep south down there, huh?
Yes, sir.
So you're on this show with us this morning, and I appreciate that. What connection do you have with CPS?
Well, I have a wrongful termination case with CPS where there has been several violations found on CPS, the judge, the district attorneys, and the attorneys involved in the case. And they have terminated my parental rights with zero evidence. And we also went to trial and won our trial. Then the judge just signed the illegal orders and went through with the termination anyway after a 3-year investigation.
Who did the 3-year investigation?
CPS and these courts.
And as of right now, are your parental rights terminated?
Yes, sir. They are wrongfully terminated.
You know, I just want to mention this as an aside. A few weeks ago, there was a woman on our show who had her parental rights terminated. And after 5 years, she got her rights reinstated.
Yes.
So, a lot of people will tell you once you get your rights terminated and you lose the appeal, you're, SOL. And I'm
Right.
here to tell you that's generally the case, but it's not always the case. And I
Yes,
actually
sir.
spoke to someone on the show who had got her rights reinstated, and I actually know the lawyer. I referred her to him who did this for her. So it was an unusual circumstances, granted, but never say die, I guess. So
Yes.
is there any type of investigation going on in your case in the state level or the federal level or anything like that?
Well, right now we're trying to get state to investigate it because they're signing off on the adoption on Monday. And so at this point, we have gathered our evidence, we have built our timeline, and we are seeking basically law enforcement investigation on both state and federal levels.
Great. Federal level, I like that.
Yes, sir.
Have you talked to or complained to the Department of Justice there in Houston?
Yes, sir. I have put in several complaints. I'm waiting to hear back from them, but there's so much going on at the Capitol right now. I'm pretty sure they feel like they can talk to me later for whatever reason. But yes, I have put in several complaints.
And there's also the Department of Health and Human Services. They take
Yes,
complaints
sir.
as well. Have
Yes,
you
sir.
made?
I filed with them. I filed with the governor's office. I filed with the attorney general's office. I filed with the judicial misconduct office. I filed with the ethics committee, and I've also filed with the state bar.
So tell me in about 2 or 3 sentences, how you think you were cheated or defrauded in this case.
Okay. Well, what I would do is I'm going to cite to you, I have a motion for summary judgment that my attorney finally did write up, but it's so funny that they never filed it or asked for a hearing on it. But the motion of summary judgment states that CPS relied on their 5412 removal without a warrant and its illegal taking. And after adequate enough time for discovery, they have failed to produce any evidence that warrants their actions or shows any cause for their actions. So it seems like they have just illegally took our children and relied on the judge to sign the orders because without the judge, they couldn't do nothing. So they've relied on their 5412 and illegal taking of these children to move forward. And so they have proceeded to do so.
How long has the case been going on?
For 3 years, Mr. Benson. And last time I checked, it was with a broken arm on a child, it takes maybe 12 to 18 months to get that closed out, correct? I may be wrong because we're in Texas and that's California. But last time I checked, the investigation couldn't even go that long. But I've been under this investigation and my kids have been in their possession for 3 years for no reason.
How many children are we talking about?
We're talking about 5 children.
What are their ages?
At the time of removal, it was 3 to 6. So those ages have changed. We have the youngest is 5, and my oldest is getting ready to be 10 or turn 10 this year.
Are all the children placed together or are they in different homes?
No, sir, they're in separate homes.
Please tell me they're with relatives.
No, sir. I have pre-qualified relatives that they could have went to. They never placed them with any family. But the paperwork states that they made every effort to keep them with family and this, that, and the other.
And that's not true.
And it's not true, no, sir.
Have you brought that up in your complaint and in your appeals and stuff?
Yes, sir. The appeals court basically affirmed the decision and ignored everything because they even asked me to write a brief for them. And I did. And the department didn't respond. The attorneys didn't respond. And the courts didn't even respond to my brief because I had wrote it up basically saying, hey, we do have 60B fraud in this case. The department never met the requirements. And I also caught them falsifying my drug test that I was never required to even take. But I took one anyway to satisfy the courts and say, okay, what else are we going to argue about then, right? And then they sat there and made it positive for methamphetamines. And I don't even smoke weed, Mr. Benson. Let me talk to you a little street just a little bit. But I don't even smoke weed. So there was no way for them to act like it was what they call an administrative error. There was no way to even say it was an administrative error, okay? We know they falsified this test, and they used it to keep proceeding in the pile of paperwork because they had nothing.
Were you represented by an attorney during these proceedings? Yes,
and our attorneys even moved for a mistrial due to the hearsay, no evidence being produced, and miscellaneous exertions being blurted out to the jury that couldn't be changed, because they tried to basically paint a picture of me and make me look like this monster in court, and the jury didn't really understand what was going on. So they started using accusations and hearsay to basically persuade a jury.
Well, let me ask you something. In Texas, in a CPS case, you're entitled to a jury trial?
Yes, sir.
Interesting.
Yes, sir.
They don't have that in California.
Oh, they don't?
No.
That is strange.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we said, hey, if it's just on the judge, no, we ain't gonna play with the judge. Let's let 12 people tell us we wrong and we don't need our kids. But what I didn't understand, Mr. Benson, was Anytime you go to a jury trial, the DA is already fabricating them, already asking them to rule in their favor, because don't nobody want to be a jury trial at the end of the day, especially during a pandemic. You see what I'm saying? So everybody's just like, okay, yeah, we heard this, yeah, let's just rule on that. And they don't know if they're following the law. They don't know if they're not following the law. They're just like, hey, let's get this over with, because why do we even get summons to be here? So that's what they did. And I didn't understand that at first. I said, hey, at the end of the day, our job was not to be telling one lie. Okay? Because I said, hey, at the end of the day, if we're clean, there's no way we can lose. And I didn't know the dirty tricks of the court. So I said, well, yeah, let's go. Let's do this. But instead of them facing me in trial, Mr. Benson, they had placed a false felony on me. Went off my $50,000 bond, which was excessive because there was zero evidence that an assault even occurred. So they had it set up to where if I went to court, they were going to arrest me and take our newborn. So I had to even watch the trial and work with my attorney from a distance.
Well, wait a minute. You have a newborn in your custody?
Oh, yes, sir. And another one on the way. And I dare them to come touch them because I'm going to give my life up behind it. And they've also put a warrant out on that baby. So
Okay.
when
That's what I was
CPS,
going to say. Go ahead. That's what I was going to say. I'm surprised they didn't try to take the baby.
oh, they tried. But what happened was we had a God-fearing officer, thank God. But we were stopped because we were in a rental vehicle at the time. And we didn't know nothing about a warrant on the baby. We didn't know nothing about this, okay? So he said, yeah, man, I stopped y'all because the paper tag, which is the temporary tag, flew off of your car. Y'all don't have a tag on the car. So we said, okay. So we gave our license up. We cooperated with the law, and they ran my wife's name. So when they ran my wife's name, they said, hold on, we got a problem. I got to call Sarge. I said, hold on, when they got to call Sarge for a traffic stop? He said, man, it's a little deeper. Let me let him explain it to you. So Sarge came, they searched our vehicle, and they looked at the baby. Okay, my baby is fat, happy, and healthy. Thank God she was 8 pounds. But at the end of the day, he said, hey, this is what's going on, Mr. Dennison. CPS had put a warrant out for this baby. She looks happy and healthy. As far as I'm concerned, I've done the welfare check. There's nothing wrong with this baby. I don't see nothing wrong with y'all, and everybody's good. He said, CPS are asking y'all to sit here and wait. I said, Sarge, I'm not doing that. I'm finna go. So he said, I tell you what I can't do. I can't hold you, Mr. Dennison. I don't see any probable cause. I don't see nothing wrong. Y'all don't have any violations. And we verified with the rental car company that our tag was legit. After that, he said, hey, I can't hold y'all. I'm going to let y'all go. He said, what I want y'all to do is give me your address to where you're living at. I said, Sarge, I really don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway, because at the end of the day, even if they come to my door, I'm not opening it. So I gave him the address, and 2 days later, CPS, sure enough, came with the cops talking about they need to investigate our new baby. So I told the lady, I said, ma'am, you and your supervisor can go to jail today as far as I'm concerned, because there's no way to open a neglect or abuse case on a newborn baby unless that baby had some drugs in her system, or she was sick, or there was a physical harm or imminent danger. Oh, well, we took your kid, we took the other kids, and you had another case, and da-da-da. I said, hey, ma'am, at the end of the day, they haven't even took those kids right. And everybody involved in that, hey, they got to go answer to God and the law to that. I said, but for right now, for my safety and self-defense, I need y'all to leave us alone. Whatever questions you have, we're here to answer them on this phone, and I'm going to record it. But after that, I'm going to send you all of these warnings and cease and desist letters and everything I can give you. Because if you bring the cops to my house again, I'm going to ask for you to be arrested. So they finally stopped and left her alone and went on about their business. So now we're trying to run behind our 5 babies that they took the first time illegally and wrongfully, unconstitutionally, and unlawfully. Everything you can think about is there. So we were trying to figure out what was it that they were doing, and somebody had explained to me the Cash for Kids scheme. So there's a judge teaching these judges and lawyers how to organize this crime and make it seem like they have a CPS case, but they really don't. They're drawing out the money for the court hearings. They're drawing out the money for the foster care, and they're trying to collect on adoption incentives. And every parent is going to go crazy when they find out about it.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
I don't want to talk too much.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. But when I tell stuff like that to Attorney Davis, it's very hard for him to believe.
Mr. Davis, I promise you, not all parents are lying or making this up. I promise you that, sir. I can't say that, and that's for all 50 states. It doesn't matter where you at. You cannot break a state or federal law, and a judge cannot give nobody permission to break state and federal law. Because if that was the case, I could just go over here and grab my neighbor's kid right now and say, hey, judge, will you sign off on this? It's going to be $20,000 in this for us. And then there I go selling somebody's kids.
It's becoming a business. That's what I was trying to explain to you.
Ma'am. And it's child trafficking because you cannot decoy the truth. But those kids have to be in imminent danger or physical harm.
Listen, Anthony, I know that. On Memorial Day weekend this year, I think it was last month, I can't remember.
Yes, ma'am.
A judge was arrested. Was arrested transporting children, CPS kids from ages 9 to age 14 to be sex trafficked. The FBI arrested this judge. It was a white judge. It was all over the news. Older man transporting children. And when I tell Davis that, I do my research, you guys, I do my research. I talk to ex-foster parents, or I talk to ex-social workers. These people tell me the ugly truth and literally show me proof of it. But they don't want to be on the show because they don't, they don't want to be exposed. However, they're using children for money. So what the police does, the police department gets an incentive for making that report. People say they're mandated reporters, but oftentimes the police makes just a report just because that they were involved. But there's no domestic violence, but yet they still make a report for domestic violence. Those social workers gets involved. The police gets an incentive bonuses from that. Teachers are now getting incentive bonuses. There's a teacher, and I want everybody to know that's in LA County. There's a principal, a therapist that was working for the school. The principal of the school took her in the office and told her she has to report children that are not getting along with other children to the Department of Child Services. She said, but why? He said, incentives, we get incentive bonuses. Those bonuses goes into the teacher fund account that stays there. When they get their summer vacation, they get paid from that fund account. So basically, the school therapist said, no, I'm not going to go along with that. That's ridiculous. There's nothing wrong with the kids. And then he told her, he said, if you don't do it, you're fired. She recorded him. She bought a pen from Amazon because she knew something was not right with what's going on with the schools and the teachers are making so many reports. She got a pen, recorded the principal, recorded him. But she was dumb because she didn't know, she said, that when she took it to the state, or I don't know where she took it exactly, but they came after her and her kids.
Okay.
Services came after her and her kids. She took her kids, went to Italy. She's never been back. She FaceTimed me and she showed me the actual recording. She was even afraid to even she showed me the recording. I was listening to it.
Yes, ma'am.
The recording, the video, and she recorded the school, going to the office, everything.
Yes, ma'am. I'm familiar.
Happening. And then when I tell Davis, he thinks not everybody is corrupt, but everybody is corrupt because when you put money and corruption, they're side by side.
Yes.
It's
Yes,
important,
ma'am.
but they're using children, they're using teachers, they're using law enforcement to get what they want. So people think, oh yeah, we are the parents, we have rights. We don't have rights. I was just talking about that last night. You know why we don't have rights? Because right now in schools, okay, you don't need your parents' permission anymore. You can just do what you want to do.
Yes.
You have sex change, you don't need to talk to anyone. Just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. So people need to be aware. Um, fuck, I don't even know what to say anymore. Fucking
Just
don't
like it's sad.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying it's just sad. It's sad. It's sad. It's very, very sad. It's very, very, very sad. And I mean, children right now, me and Cassandra are watching a video of a 13-year-old that said that he was convinced that she was convinced that she's a boy at school from the
Wow.
she did it, she started getting hormone pills, and she said her parents were scared because they kept pressuring her parents. You got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. She's speaking about it now. She said she's 18 or 16, sorry, 16 now. And she said, I didn't know any better. I was just going along with the teacher was telling me that I am. And I became this person, but I'm not this person. They lied to you. Am I right, Cassandra?
Yeah, she was saying how her parents were afraid because they threatened her life, like basically threatened them, like if you don't do this, your daughter's going to take her life, and instead, so you want her to be, to be a daughter that's dead or a son that's alive.
Yeah,
that's what they
exactly.
Yeah.
No, parents don't have rights anymore. They don't have rights anymore. When I was in school, my mom and dad had to sign a consent just for me to get sex education in high school. Now it's like there is no consent. Here's a condom. Go have sex. They're pregnant. The state is going to take your baby. They're going to make money. It's a win-win.
Yep.
Children are pregnant. State takes the baby, and then they adopt the baby. Then they make more money from the baby, and nobody's looking at it like that. Nobody. They want to blind everyone.
Yep.
And then they make false allegations, and then the freaking public defenders don't do anything. Why? Because they're not going to bite the hand that feeds them. The state feeds them. They pay their bill.
Ma'am.
So of course they're going to want a freaking job with the state because they're losers and lazy and they don't want to do their freaking job helping people. So they get lazy. They get paid whether they work on people's cases or not. Regardless, they get paid. And that's why it's an easy job for them. They can't go work in a private law firm and not give services, right?
Yep. But the crazy part, the crazy part about it is these people can't even imagine losing their car keys right now. Mm-hmm. So how are you going to talk to me about 5 babies? Mm-hmm. My little girls. See, I had a set of twins that were boy and girl. Then I had 2 girls, and then I had my second, Anthony Dennison the second. They already knew somebody wanted a black baby, somebody wanted a set of twins, and somebody put some money up on that. Mm-hmm. So I didn't stand a chance from the start.
But what I heard also, that the supervisor, one of the supervisors at the Department of Child Services, forgot to hang up the phone. Oh no, sorry, the social worker forgot to hang up the phone with the mother, and she was in the supervisor's office. The mother heard everything. She recorded everything. She recorded the supervisor telling the social worker, and that's in LA County, telling the social worker that baby is adoptable. That family in such and such home.
Yes, I saw that. I did see that.
They want to adopt this type of baby. This baby is
thank you. They wasn't lying.
She freaked the crap out. What she did, she went to the police, reported the video to the police, and said, "Look what they're doing to my baby. They're going to steal my baby." The mother thought that she was going to get help from the police. What people don't understand, cops are not going to help you. They're not gonna help you.
No.
Not. Huh. They work for the state and counties. What is
Yep.
wrong with people? Cops don't help. The only thing that they can do is stop a criminal or help you or find a criminal. But when it comes to counties corruption or state corruption, they're out of it.
Yep.
They're out of this. And when
Yep. And they want to put you in jail for putting a piece of candy in your pocket at Walmart.
right. But what people
Yes.
don't understand also is that, oh my goodness, what people don't understand is that the social workers are all trained to, they're like demons and they use demonic strategy. Okay? Demonic strategy to steal your children. But it's so easy right now because they make the case so screwed for the parent that trying to get an attorney to review the case is going to cost money. And then
Yes.
they always ask the parents this, and I heard this from everybody, and I personally say it's 100% true. They first ask the parents, the social worker that is, do you have money to hire an attorney? Right? Very softly. Then the parents say, no, man, I don't have money. I don't work. I lost my job, blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay then. Right? Right away, they move in for the kill. One parent, she told me, Georgette, I heard it on your show. I did exactly what she said. She said, I have money to hire an attorney. In fact, I'm going to hire Attorney Davis, right? The social worker said, oh. You know what happened?
What happened?
They send another social worker trying to convince her, don't hire an attorney. We have a wonderful attorney that the court provides you for free. Right? The free sounds always good. Remember, I told you guys on my show before, free is good. I go to Costco with my brother. They give you free, what do you call it? Samples. I buy it, I like it, and I want to buy the actual package. So they're smart, right? So what happened was she said, no, I'm going to hire Attorney Davis. She hired us on time before it got worse, meaning she hired us before the case got damaged, worse, right?
Yes.
Then she got her, her kids were not removed from her custody. That was doing the investigation part. Her kids were not removed from her custody. Then she called me back and she said, Georgette, I want to work side by side with you, but I don't want to be on your show, but I want to expose the Department of Child Services. She's doing, behind the scene exposure with the department. Why? Because what they're doing is horrible. It's horrible.
Yes, ma'am.
It's horrible. And you guys don't understand. Free is not beneficial for you. Free is
Stop
not.
using attorneys like free samples. Like you get a free attorney and you sample it, and then you want to buy the real attorney. No, don't do that. Just buy the real attorney.
From the start.
Yes. Don't use it like a free sample because then it's too late.
Yes. But see, the problem is we don't have a lot of attorneys like Mr. Davis. Okay.
That's so true.
All of our good attorneys, I'm talking about the sharks, they want to go do a doggone car accident now.
I know.
But they were sharks at one point in time, especially the men. The men have got knocked down so hard, it's not even funny how they've done us, okay? But at the end of the day, I had a very good attorney. And when I asked him to go file something, he finally said, okay, man, I'm just get off your damn case. Excuse my language. He said, I'm just get off the case. I said, yeah. He said, man, these are federal we're looking at. I said, yeah, it is, ain't it? So, yeah, go ahead and get yourself off my case. Since you don't want to file nothing, you see they illegally taking possession of our kids, and they put my 6-year-old daughter in a mental health hospital and had her on adult medication for adult mental health patients. So as far as I'm concerned, you tried to kill my child when you never should have even had her. But they didn't come take our child from us. They had us arrested on false charges and then came and snatched the kids and acted like the grandmother didn't want them at the house all of a sudden.
But you know
it
what?
was a straight plot of evil. It was straight evil.
Anthony, you mentioned medication. Medication is okay. So the pharmaceutical company makes a lot of money.
Yes, ma'am. And
I
CPS also gets more money for those kids to have a mental health condition.
That
See,
is
nothing
correct.
was wrong with my kids at first. Everybody was reported by EMS happy, healthy, and happy.
Yes, and they make money from the pharmaceutical. Well, the pharmaceutical companies are. Oh my God, they even doctors make money. You know, they say, okay,
Yeah,
well, give this medication to this person, and they make money from this, right? So
misdiagnosing them. Yes,
they
ma'am.
medicate the children. Why do they medicate the children? Okay, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I have freaking common sense, right?
Common sense.
The child is stripped away from their parent. Okay, God
Yes,
forbid if I was stripped away from my father, because I lived with both my mom and dad, but I was very close to my father. I loved my dad so much that I was his shadow, right? God forbid if they would have, if that ever happened to me as a child, I would lose my mind as a child
as
because
a
I
child.
killed
Yeah,
my father, right? So when they take children, steal them, the kids go hysterical. Then they blame it on the parents. The parents are the reason why the child is acting that way. The parents are not the reason why the child is acting that way. When the
no,
child goes to a strange home that they have no idea who the frick they are, then they lose their mind, especially when they tell them, oh, you're not going to see your parents again. Oh,
yeah,
your mom and dad didn't want to come to the visitation. No,
that's
your mom
gonna freak
and
any baby out.
canceled. No, the mom's dad visitation was canceled. They tell the children your mom and dad didn't want to show up. You're full of shit, Department of Child Services. You are full
Yeah,
of everywhere in the United States. You guys are criminals. The state, you
yes,
guys are criminals. All of them are criminals. They're only after one thing: money. They use the
that
children
money.
for incentives, and they use them as merchandise that sells. And if anybody gets in the way, they're crazy. They don't know what they're saying. This woman is,
Yeah,
blah, 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 blah. No,
or their lives get threatened.
shit.
Yeah, that
That shit is crazy what's going on.
and that's the thing. Like once they get the
Crazy.
kids and the kids start acting out and they become unadoptable, then
Yep.
they start pumping them with freaking psych meds
Like
and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
And then because they're screw it, we'll just pump them up with psych meds to get the money for the psych meds and the
Yep.
children that are crazy because
Right.
they're
Yep.
unadoptable, and so because
Uh-huh.
we can't get the money for the adoption anymore.
There you go.
Yeah.
So also, wait, you forgot to mention something. When they take children and medicate them, right? The children become they're trained to think they're crazy or they're mentally unstable, right? Then these children, they did a study in jail. 90% of the jail people, the ones in jail, are foster care kids.
Yes.
90%, not 50, 90% are foster care children.
Miss G, what does that tell you?
The system is fucked up.
It's a yes, and it's a conspiracy.
That's crazy. That is crazy. I missed. Look, I'm an adult. I'm in my 50s. I'm almost God. I'm old. But anyway, just thinking of my father and my mom, they're with God now, but just every day I miss them. As an adult, just imagine when you take children from their family, what you do to their psyche, what happens to them.
For no reason. For no reason.
Hold on, you guys.
Excuse me one second.
Hold on for a second. I got a comment it says, Anthony Gonzalez, can I get an answer? Does anybody know, looking back in the comments, what Anthony's question was?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't even see the comments.
How can I get help because of the
apologize.
DCFS? It says, how can I get help because of the DCFS agency conspired with foster parents and attorneys as well, and I have done everything they asked of me to do. I even became a parent ambassador for the community. Exactly man, that's what they tell me about my kids. The foster parents say that, but also abuse them and no one hears.
So do me a favor, Cassandra, give Anthony our telephone number and have him call today and make an appointment to speak to me. I mean, I don't know if you see that number. What?
If he's still watching, it's right there.
Bottom right hand.
888-522.
Right
Bottom
there.
right hand corner, Anthony.
It's on the other side, Cassandra, on your screen.
No, I could see it on my screen this way.
The 888 number.
Yeah, is it on this side?
Yeah.
It's on this side.
On my screen, it's on this side.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
But it's in bright red and white. Yes.
Okay, before I rudely interrupt you, Anthony, what were you saying? You were
Oh, no, sir, you didn't rule in the road. It's fine. We had a case that was on the news about 2 months ago. The mother and boyfriend was in a nice big old house in a big old respectable community and had 2 teenager boys.
The twins.
But guess what they had with those 2 teenage boys? They were probably 14 or 15. They were handcuffed, shackled to something in a washroom while the mama and daddy ran off to Louisiana from Texas.
Where they also had other kids that were abused in
Yes.
Louisiana.
And the kids actually broke out of it somehow and ran to their neighbors. Was like, "Can we please come in? We're hungry, and we need to tell you what happened." And a lot of people was like, "Oh no, you can't come to my door, and I don't have nothing." Just acting so ugly. But you would have never thought that these kids were endangered like that. Okay. So at the end of the day, whenever they came back, these kids have been left there for 4 or 5 days, possibly, because you had to be tripping to even leave them there and have them handcuffed and shackled. Their hands were actually swollen and bruised and handcuff marks and all of this. And they finally put the warrants out on the parents, and then CPS finally grabbed them. But they sat there and tried to put them right back with the mom and daddy.
Yes.
But the mom and daddy is sitting there in jail on actual charges that prove neglect and abuse, and they won't even go convict them.
And previously in Louisiana, the lady also abused her other children. And then they ran from Louisiana to Texas with the twins. Then the twins got out and they ran back out to Louisiana, but the twins got out and tried to go to the neighbors and knock on the doors. And they finally found a woman. And when she found them, they had cuts and bruises and swelling.
I think that's who we're talking about. We're talking about the same case. Yes. Yes. Somebody did open the door.
The boy had no shirt on.
Yes. That's there. Yes.
It was horrible. And the children that she had abused in Louisiana, she stuck one of her infants in a hot water and burned him. She was beating the other children she had. She had 5 other children.
Was this on the news, Cassandra?
Yes,
it was.
Yes, sir.
We all know about
it 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Yes.
And the thing about it is, the reason they want them back with the parents or the mother is because they're not adoptable. The kids
are not adoptable. There you go. That makes sense.
That's what I've been trying to tell you guys. Oh my God, I've been saying this for 2 years. The kids are damaged, and nobody listens to me. And
we're crazy. We're mental health.
The kids are damaged, and that's why they don't want them to go back. They don't want to do anything with the kids. So what do they do? Take them back with the family. But then social workers will come and say, "Oh, the news, the fake media, that is." They say, "Oh, well, that's why we need social workers, because for situations like that." But they don't show the other corruption of the social workers stealing a good child from good parents, or a good mother. Just because
in the past 6 months, in my town, in the past 6 months, there's been 2 children who have died due to their parents, and nobody batted an eye. But they're stealing good children from people all over.
Yep.
But the 2 children that died in my town, they had no chance because nobody would have batted an eye and tried to come and get them or try to protect them, obviously.
I got a question for you, Cassandra.
Yes.
These 2 children that died in your town, were they in the same family or different families?
Different families.
Do you know if anyone had been calling CPS?
Yes.
Was that reported in the news, or you knew?
Yes, it was reported in the news. I know
And
for
then,
sure on one of them it was reported in the news.
Yeah.
and then the family, I mean, CPS didn't do anything?
Nope.
No,
Nope.
this child had bruises on top of bruises on top of bruises that were healing on top of each other.
Mhm. CPS only takes good kids. I'm telling you, all the kids who are abused, they're not removed from the home. All of
Nope.
them. All of them.
Cassandra, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Um, did you see this like in a newspaper or online or anything like that?
I seen it online on my Facebook. I get little news articles from my town and on my Facebook from like a Facebook page that my town does. Like it's called Bad News for this town, or like there's little Facebook pages, and it was a police report from the police department.
Could you do me a favor sometime today or tomorrow, whenever you have an extra minute? Could you send me the links to those articles? I'd like to read them.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Dennison,
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you for being on the show today
Yes, sir. But
and
thank you guys for having me.
sharing your story. You know, one of the things I could tell is that you've really done some, given this some thought and analysis, and perhaps done some research. You've really kind of distilled a lot of things that are happening in your case, and I can only imagine if you're probably thinking about it 24/7, 365.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to have my producer, her name is Grace, contact you about being a guest future, or perhaps even doing a show for us one time a week.
To expose the department, Anthony. We're trying to bring awareness everywhere as much as
So, Anthony,
Yes.
this is one of the things that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get a parent from every state in this country to come on and perhaps be interviewed and do a show for us, because one of the things I'm finding is that, you know, I used to think years ago that this was limited to Los Angeles County, where I practice law. And then I started going to other counties and other states, and I realized, you know, this is all the same playbook nationwide. It's the same playbook. And as much as I hate to admit it, because, you know, I'm part of the system as a lawyer, Ms. G makes some very good points. And, you know, there's that old saying, follow the money. Follow the money and you'll get your answer to everything.
Yeah.
And, you know, one of the things Ms. G and I talk about sometimes is, now what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Talking about it and complaining about it is one thing, making people knowledgeable. But are we going to really do something and make some change?
people don't vote. That's the problem. A lot of people I talk to, they say, we don't want to vote. Then don't complain. I get mad, you know, well, not mad, disappointed, because people don't want to vote. But how are you going to make a change if you don't vote? But they say, or vote for their party. No, you don't want to vote. Oh my God. Just because you're a Democrat or a Republican, don't vote just for your party. You vote for the right person. People understand. It doesn't matter. You need somebody to make a difference. You need to get these people out of office. That's very important. When you see the Democrats dancing on a freaking bench, I forgot what her name was, this Latina lady. She's dancing on the bench while the crowds are booing her. She's dancing. She's like, you know, eating gum or chewing gum or drinking water, whatever she was doing. We don't need her in office. She doesn't care what the people are trying to tell her. We need to get them out, and we need to replace them with people who actually will help us. As the people, we are the reason they are sitting and getting paid, you guys. We pay them. We pay their salary. We are the people. You need to remember that. In order for you to make a change, you need to vote them out. And you need to do your research when you vote. when you vote, you need to do the research on who you're voting for, not just because they're Democrat, not just because they're Republican, but vote for the right person. It's a lot of work to do your research. I'm still doing my research. I showed Cassandra last night, I put it aside and I said, I need to do my research on all this. This is important because if your tax dollar is going somewhere, you better believe you want it to be worthy. Okay? Worthy for that tax dollar that they take from each one of us to pay their salary. That's important for you guys to understand, and I hope you guys are listening.
Thank you, Miss G. I want to thank everybody for listening and watching today. We've come to the end of the show. Miss Cassandra, thank you. Mr. Dennison, thank you again. And don't forget, Grace will be contacting you. And if I didn't say it, thank you, Miss G. We'll be on tomorrow and at 9 o'clock? 9 o'clock on weekends, 9 a.m. And so we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good Saturday.
Thank you.